Well, hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to my little gardening show. I don't know how good the signal is going to be out here. I've never tried to live stream from the garden before, but we are at the garden just kind of taking a look at things, seeing how things are. It's been a few weeks since we've really spent some quality time out here, so wanted to just kind of assess things. We've had a couple of frosts since the last time we were out here. I think we were out here about 2 weeks ago. We picked the green beans. There's still quite a bit growing out here in spite of the weather and what it's been. But I'm gonna flip the camera around and we'll take a little tour of the fall garden. Let's see if we can get this flipped around. All right, so the tomato patch is pretty well done. It's all ratty, but
You didn't get very many branches on this.
yeah, I didn't. Look at this. There's a nice one hiding in there. I'm surprised. Let's see. That's pretty good. Most of the tomatoes have succumbed to like blight and some of the diseases that tend to terminate them about this time of year. A lot of tomatoes are blighted, smaller for sure. We're just kind of letting them go. In a couple weeks, once the oh, there's another one. Good. Here, put those on the picnic table. Once the weather really gets colder and these vines die back a little bit more, we'll start removing stuff, clearing out the garden. Probably within the next 2 weeks. I want to try to get some leaves out here too. Yeah, that's pretty good. So we'll see if we can do that. Let's keep moving around the garden here. Now we got a late crop of butter crunch lettuce that my dad, he planted some stuff here. It doesn't look like anything came up in this row, but this is where the radishes were. And we let them go to seed and then I mowed them down and you can see they're all over the place. We're gonna kind of let that go and see what happens. But we got some butter crunch lettuce that's coming up. This is just really ratty looking, kind of disappointing. We had a couple of Brussels sprout plants and they didn't fare too well at all. We didn't really get anything from that.
I mean, look at this one.
Yeah, that's kind of nasty looking. We'll be ripping all of this out here next couple weeks. Over here we have butter crunch lettuce still going strong. And the dog is having a good old time. Again, we seen a bunny rabbit a couple weeks back. And there's something probably in the garden. She's pretty excited. I don't know what she's looking at. But anyway. This lettuce, it looks good, but it's a tad bitter. I mean, it's edible. It's not like super milky. It's really not milky at all. But we've cut on this patch probably 4 times, and you can see there's just a lot here. And it's edible. It just doesn't taste the greatest. Hey, bud, why don't you go over here? There looks like there's some good tomatoes. Hey, bud, there's some good tomatoes over here. So this is my sister's side of the garden. And it's kind of on downhill swing as well. We've got some cherry tomatoes to pick. Some regular tomatoes. She's got some flowers planted. She had giant sunflowers through here. She picked all those up, or pulled them out. Actually ended up hurting herself doing that. pulled a muscle or something.
Hold her chest.
Yeah. But anyway, Dad's out in Colorado. Probably will be out there a couple more weeks, possibly till beginning of December. Yeah, see that. You enjoying that tomato? So in the meantime, we're coming out. We're kind of not really keeping a watch on things. Just I've been checking on things occasionally. But my sister, she's here. She lives at the house, and she's not here right now. But anyway, we're gonna try to next couple weeks get this garden cleaned up, totally prepped for fall. I'll end up having to pull a lot of this stuff out or cut it off, mow it, mow it in. We got some structures we'll need to remove, and try to get the township to bring us some leaves like we've done in years past to get a nice thick cover on the garden. There's just a ton of weeds out here. One of the things with this being getting a ton of sunlight, and it's a good location, the weeds just thrive. Everything does pretty well out here. We have a lot of problems with birds bringing in a Canadian thistle, which is just extremely difficult to get rid of, and we've got a lot of that over in the far end of the garden. So I don't know, try to mow that under, get it mulched as thick as we can. And then what we might do next spring, because I don't think we've got time this fall, but get some cardboard where we want to plant to try to keep it a little more weed free. Let's go over to the peppers and green beans real quick. Yeah, they will eat vegetables. I wouldn't make her eat anything. She'll eat on her own. We got a lot of peppers coming in late. The frost hasn't really affected the pepper plants yet, which is a little surprising actually. Yeah, it's like a little Marconi. A lot of stuff that just, I don't know, this location did not work real well for the peppers. And what is it, honey? That's a red Thai chili. I know it's hot, so I'm not gonna try that right now. No, don't, bud. You're gonna hurt your sister. Anyway, the peppers didn't do real well in this section of the garden for whatever reason. I mean, they look like they're doing well, but we got, golly, last year just a ton more. I think I had them planted along here in the tomatoes. The other thing we had planted was it was a cover crop. It was winter rye. That's what, no, honey. Hey, winter rye and clover we had planted through here, and we had peppers. They're really productive, so I'd like to, that's another thing I could try as well, is kind of going back to using some cover crops. We had our late crop of green beans here. We got the majority of them picked. We didn't get to the last 3 rows here. The beans were kind of ratty, and you can see they're real sensitive to frost. All right, that's enough.
You get the stick.
All right, go find the dog. Go find the dog.
3. Give me a 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
These beans are called Commodore, and they're okay. I probably won't grow them again. The reason for that is they weren't very easy to harvest. unlike the jade, when they came in, they would come in like clusters where I could, you know, harvest a whole bunch all at once. They were just a lot easier to pick, whereas these individual pods all throughout the plant, so you had to really kind of dig through to get all the beans. And what we ended up resorting to, since they weren't going to be lasting a whole lot longer anyways, we just pulled the plants out of the ground and had a little system where we were pulling the beans off the plants and doing it that way. The beans taste all right and they're stringless. They're just a little more difficult to harvest, and so I probably won't grow them again for that reason. We got a lot of hot peppers that are still coming on. I've got some red Thai chilies, some cayenne peppers. We've got some really hot peppers, the Trinidad Scorpion, the little GMO peppers. Let's look at the jalapenos real quick. We picked these over pretty good the last time we were here, but there are a few, they're kind of stubby peppers, and they're still good. But we got a lot of work ahead of us to get this cleared out. You know, talking to my wife about the garden, like we need to figure out a way to make things just a little bit easier to maintain. Not only that, but do a little bit better job of trying to do some succession planting so we don't get everything all at once. Used to, she had time to help me process the stuff that was coming in. You know, we had time together as a family to come out and harvest things. But anymore, the kids are getting older, and they've got jobs, they're in activities, they've got a pretty good course load as far as classes and things like that. And it's just really difficult to find the time. I don't have as much, basically the bottom line is I don't have as much help as I used to when they were smaller, you know. So, and I don't have as much time either, you know, as we have made friends in the community and things like that, and there's just there's more activities, there's more on the plate this year than any other year we've had, and it's just it's a different season. I don't know if you guys can relate out there, those of you who have kids and stuff like that. Season where they're more or less dependent on you, and you kind of dictate their schedule and all of that, and then they get, you know, they grow up and they've got their own things that they're wanting to do, and then there's they still need a lot of help and support, which we're glad to give that and do that. We want to do that. So consequently, the priorities have changed a little bit. Still love the garden, still love getting out here and spending time and watching things grow and cultivating things and all of that, but just don't have as much time to maintain it. So there's got to be, we got to work smarter. We got to find more sustainable ways of doing this if we're going to keep doing things on this scale. Otherwise, there's just a lot that goes to waste. You know, case in point, let's look at this lettuce. Tons and tons of lettuce, and yet we've only been out here a handful of times to pick, and when we do pick, we try to pick the patch clean, you know, and we give lettuce away and all of that. But if we had it more in sections at varying stages and could get out here, you know, consistently, we'd be eating more of this instead of it going to the rabbits. Now, of course, my dad and my sister benefit from the garden being here and can come down at any point each day to get whatever they want, and that's cool and all. So I don't know, we'll see. I'm gonna try to do some studying this winter and figure out if there's something different we can do out here. You know, the mitt lighter gardening method, it works well, but the garden's still dependent on, in some ways more dependent because you gotta make sure you're giving it those inputs each week. Though maybe if we had the grow boxes and did it like that way, we wouldn't have the weed pressure, and we could set it up where it's a little bit easier for Dad to maintain, you know, in the weeks that we can't get out here. But I don't know, it'd be nice to transition more to permaculture, sustainable type deal where you get a thick layer of mulch. You've got the different perennials in here that would have the mycelium and the mycorrhizal fungi, you know, so that basically whatever you put in, the garden's going to do, you know, for the most part pretty well, and it'd be pretty maintenance free. You don't have to water as much, shouldn't have to weed as much if you can get the initial cover mulch right. But again, doing it on this scale, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. So I know it's kind of one of those things where, like, you have the knowledge. There's things that you know would probably work. It's just making it a priority, making it a reality. You know, following through and doing it. And that's something we haven't been able to do up to this point. So anyway, let's head up to the greenhouse. I'll show you that real quick. You did. All right. Here, what you want to entertain the dog while I go up to the greenhouse?
She could stay here.
She could, but she's gonna start barking.
No, she's busy smelling and sneezing.
Now the greenhouse is another thing. It's where if we lived a little closer, I could take more advantage of it. It's still in really good shape. Got some trays and stuff that are in it. We got these racks. I got all these extra racks, and what I'm going to do this fall, next couple weekends, is go through and assemble some shelving. I've got a pipe cutting tool and stuff, and basically we can adjust these so that I've got some more shelving in here. I've got my homemade stuff, but it'd be nice to get the metal shelving in here. If we have time too, gonna try to pressure wash, you know, clean these panels because they're starting to get a little bit of stuff on there. Just clean everything real good so that they don't get discolored. We've still got the electric running to it, so we could use this. What you doing, honey?
Where's Buddy?
I think Bubby's down in the garden.
No.
He's playing with the dog. I don't think this is right. It's saying that it's over 100, and it doesn't feel that hot in here, so I might end up having to get a new temperature gauge. The automatic openers are still working. I got this one adjusted down where it's not opening as much. Now my sister, she's got a greenhouse too to do her flowers in, because we didn't have enough space to do everything we wanted to do, and she really wanted a greenhouse. We thought about doing a Palram one because it's just really solid, awesome quality. So far it's held up really well, though. Like I said, it needs to be cleaned. I need to take these panels out and clean it. This is more, it's a little bit more of a budget greenhouse. The panels are a different material. It's held up pretty well. It's got these clasps that you kind of had to bend in to hold these panels in. Whereas these, you know, I had to slide them through a channel and then lock them down, so there's, you know, there's no clips holding these panels in. They're actually held in a channel all around, really solid. The frame of the greenhouse is really good. It's aluminum, just like mine. And it's solid. I mean, we got it, it's on a good foundation. She's got stuff in here. And she's got a door that slides. It's a sliding door, whereas mine, you know, opens and then has a clasp. As you can see, you can't really see through the panels real well, just kind of the material that they are. They're kind of it's like a corrugated plastic. It's almost like, it's similar to like cardboard, but it's plastic. Looks like she's got a panel that blew out. That's not good. Maybe some of these clips came undone. I wonder if she knows. She probably doesn't know that she's got a panel that blew out. That's not good. And it looks like these clips need to be reset. They're interesting. I think these were extra anyway. So anyway, everything's in good shape. We're just kind of on that downhill slide where we need to get things ready for winter, you know, and then readjust, figure out what we're going to do next spring. So anyway, we're going to be here a little while longer, putzing around. Probably try to harvest some lettuce, go through, see if there's any more tomatoes to pick. And then head home. We got a little get-together we're going to tonight, cookout, so that should be fun. And then try to go from there. Next thing that I'll be doing is, other than getting the garden shut down for the season, is getting my grow room situated. If we have the resources, I'm going to try to upgrade the grow lights that I've got. Maybe get another heat mat so I can keep more stuff there before taking it out to the greenhouse, you know, late next spring. But try to scale that a little bit. Try to have a little more fun with it this winter if we can. So Anyway, it's a beautiful fall day. The leaves are coming down. Everything's changing colors. We've had a lot of rain lately. It rained all day yesterday, but today's really nice. Wind's starting to pick up. So anyway, I guess that's it for now. Until next time, happy gardening. Bye.